Hello, loading Wi-Fi here. I am going to do something different than what I've done. A review on the Beretta Px4 Storm carry. Here's the firearm, and I have a little tape over the serial number, and I'm just gonna really quick show that it's clear. Yep, it's clear. I guess you can't really see that, but it is. I'm verifying. And so, why am I making this video? Because there aren't too many. I was considering buying this, and there were not very many videos around that I could see, so I figure I'm a relative novice. I'm not super qualified or anything, but get something out there. So, with that in mind, this is a first impressions video, not a review. I have put a single box through this, so keep that in mind. I'll probably do an update at some point with an actual review, but keep that in mind. So overall, spoiler alert, I really like this, but I want to go through some of my dislikes first, and then I'm going to rant about how much I like it. The first dislike is, let's see here, the trigger reset. So watch this. Well, first, I guess let's talk about the trigger pull, even though that's a like. So this is the single action. It breaks at, I think, 4 pounds, and it feels really, really nice. But, okay, so we're good. Where's the reset? Where's the reset? Where's the reset? Oh, there it is. Okay. So basically all the way at the front is where it resets. That's a little annoying. But that being said, I don't really notice it that much personally, like just at the range. That's more of like if I'm practicing dry firing, then I kind of notice. But so it's not the biggest deal, but if you notice reset, that sucks. But what is this gun, I guess I should probably talk about. So this is kind of an upgraded version of the Px4 Compact, so the Compact Carry. It comes with some modifications, or not really modifications, but because this is all stuff, like standard stuff, but comes with slightly better sights, which I generally like. It comes with the gray Cerakote, which, I mean, it's cool, I guess. I don't really care one way or another. And then it comes with an upgraded trigger, so that's why that single action was so nice. Let's try that again. I don't know if you can get anything from that because it's a video, but it is really nice. Um, and so that's kind of the reason I wanted to get the gun, and that has held up. So what else do I not like here? Some of the modifications they made to the carry. It's decocker only, which I like, but it's so, this is bad quality video, so you can't see this very well, but it's made to be slim for carry, and I can't even do it. Like, I can't do it. In order to use the decocker, I have to use, like, come from above, and, like, there we go. So that's annoying. It's nice for carry, I'm sure. So I guess you could, it's positive too, but it is really annoying to actually use. The same could be said for the slide stop here. So flip this around actually. So here's the slide stop. It's slim and low profile, which again I'm sure is nice for carry. But like, here, how do I show this? There we go. Oh, I had a hard time with that because it's so small. So that's annoying. Again, I'm sure it's nice for carry though, and I can't, like, it's probably good for what it is, but it is definitely annoying at the range. The other thing that is a modification, well, so the standard gun comes, these are Talon grips, which come with the carry, which is really nice. I actually cut them a little bit because I didn't want them on the back because I like the standard back and front. But the sides on the standard and on this, if you don't put the Talon grips on, are super slippery. Very annoying. Talon grips fixes it though. At least, so far in my 50 rounds of experience, so it's not, a huge deal, I don't think. So what else here? It's not ambi. I guess you may have seen that. For me, I don't care. I'm a right-hander. It works. You know, I prefer it when things aren't ambi because it means a little slimmer. Well, the decocker's ambi here, but the slide stop is not. Again, I don't care if you're a lefty though. That sucks. Maybe buy a different gun. This one's maybe not for you. But yeah, so what else here? The double action trigger is really heavy, but you know, that's kind of the point. So let me, like, again, I don't know if you get anything from this because it's just me on a screen, but oh fuck. It requires some effort. I think it's 10 pounds and the single action is 4. You know, again, that's a good thing. For safety, for carry, if you want to do that. So, you know, some good, some bad. It's got a rail for mounting a light. One thing that's a little annoying is it's kind of hard. It doesn't come optics ready. And, you know, a lot of guns don't. You can mill them. This one, though, apparently is a little hard to mill, I've heard. So, like, you really want to send it to a reputable person because it's really easy to break if you get the slide milled. I've heard Langdon Tactical is good. They actually helped make this, or Ernest Langdon did. I don't know what other places are, but that one I've heard is good. So I would like to get it milled for a red dot at some point, but then that's, you know, it's kind of expensive with Langdon and just a little annoying, but not the end of the world. Another negative is a pretty short barrel. I think it's 3.3 inches, 3.2, which for its size is very short. Yeah, it's not, I don't notice it really at the range or anything, obviously, but like, if you want to have this be a defensive gun, you want more barrel, and short barrel, you know, that's kind of on the lower end. It is what it is. Makes the gun pretty compact. So, and then, yeah, I think that's, the other thing is, for me, it's kind of hard to reach the double action trigger. Like, I can do it, and I can do it with a natural grip, but it's like right on the end there, so it's, you know, I have small hands, so if you have big hands, don't worry about this. Even if you have medium hands, probably don't worry, but if you have small hands, that could be an issue. Single action's fine, though, like, if I, you know, that's totally fine. And, yeah, so, on to the positives, then, because it is really nice. I already talked about it has a wonderful single action trigger. So good. And it can also half cock. So I'll use the decocker. It's nice, I guess. I don't know if I'd use that, but that's a feature. The sights are really, really nice. Like, they're Mariglow sights, and to me, that's, you know, they're good sights. My one criticism maybe is that the sight picture is a little lacking, but this is a shorter gun, so it's kind of just gonna happen. Comes with the territory. Yeah, that trigger is really nice. The ergos, other than the fact that I have a hard time with this, are pretty good. It's hard for me to show this, but like, I like to get a finger around here, and this isn't squared off, but I haven't had a problem with that. This is a terrible grip because I'm trying to, but the ergos to me are good. Again, that's the kind of thing, if you can, try it out. Like, try it. You know, that goes for all guns. If you have the option to go to a gun store, hold them in person, see that they feel good, head to a range, ideally, fire them. There's actually a gun I was going to consider getting instead of this, and then I went to the gun store and held it, and I was like, well, this feels like crap in my hands. So, you know, I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't been able to try it out. This, I was not able to take to the range to rent, or like to rent one and use it at the range, but I was able to get a hold on it in the gun store. So, yeah. I don't think there's too many compacts, especially compact carries, though. So, you know, yeah, that trigger's really nice. It's really fun. So 50 rounds is what I fired through this. Not very much. And I did it in increments of 5 only, so I didn't load up a whole mag. I loaded up 5 just because that way, like, after the 5, I could stop and think. And so, my first 5 were terrible. And I was like, what the hell? This is supposed to be a nice gun. Why are my first 5 rounds with it terrible? Well, the answer was because and then I went back like interchangeably between firing my Glock and firing this to get a comparison. The reason those first 5 were terrible is because the Glock has such a, bad trigger compared to that. I mean, it's fine for striker fire gun, but compared to this, it has a terrible trigger. And so I was like almost, I don't know, I was just treating this like it was a bad trigger and it was not working out. And so after that, I fired a little more and I fired a little more. And I did a decock before each 5, so I fired some double action shots too instead of just the single action. Double action was really hard, but I'm not familiar with double single actions as much, so that is likely just a me thing, and it's double action, it is what it is. But then, yeah, that single action was really nice. By the end of those 50 rounds, just 50, I was actually more accurate with this than I was with the Glock. That double action was still kind of bad, but those single action, I was much more accurate with this than with the gun that I have, practiced with the most. So it works. The sights were really nice as well. In firing, the red was nice and like draws your attention there, or orange, I guess it is. But it was nice and drew my attention. I actually didn't have the Talon grips on when I fired, because I bought this and then took it to the range immediately. So I also actually had 2 failures to feed, but again, I think that's just because I bought it and took it to the range immediately and I didn't clean it. So I think that's what that is. I've heard this is reliable, but again, I'm going to start going forward paying more attention now that I have cleaned it, now that I have put the grips on. Not that it has to do with reliability, but my experience with the grips without the Talon grips was actually not that bad, but I only fired 50 rounds, and so my hands weren't particularly sweaty. But I could definitely see, like, if your hands are sweaty or something like that, or if you've got, like, water on them, or maybe the pistol's a little greasier, you can clean it off properly after you were maintaining it. Like, I could see that being a bit of an issue without the Talon grips. With the Talon grips, feels great. Again, haven't shot it with the Talon grips, though, so, yeah. And then the party piece of this firearm is, I don't know that you're going to be able to see this very well, but it does not have a tilting barrel. It has a rotating barrel. Why the hell would you want... I'm going to do this again because it feels so good. It's nice. Reset. Oh, this is terrible. Oh, there it is. Okay, so tilting barrel, why would you want that? I've heard I've heard and felt, I noticed this, it reduces recoil. So this actually has a pretty high bore axis compared to the Glock. Like, this is the highest I can get my grip on it, and the slide's a decent way above that. And so you'd expect a lot of muzzle flip when you're firing. But in actuality, there really was not that much, and I've heard it's because of that rotating barrel, it doesn't tilt up, it just goes straight back, and so the recoil goes more back into your hand rather than up into muzzle flip. I've heard that, this gun, again, this is a first impressions. I've heard it's very reliable. I've heard it lasts over a lot of rounds. I cannot speak to that myself, but I look forward to hopefully being able to speak with that as I fire a lot through this because I really like it and I really want to fire a lot through it. But yeah, is it worth it? That's a question. This is an $850 pistol. This is rather expensive. I traded something in, so I didn't pay that, thankfully. I probably wouldn't have paid that, to be frank, just off the shelf. But is it worth it? That's kind of a complicated question, because what are you comparing it to? For a carry gun, this is significantly more than a Glock 19, which is my kind of idea of a default carry gun. Like, a Glock 19 will do the same role. It's about the same size, give or take. It's the same. The Glock 19 is reliable. It has shitty sights right out of the box, but that's an easy replacement. And the trigger pull is fine. That's the big thing. This has such a nice single action trigger. I would Again, I was shooting this after one box better than my Glock 19. So to me, that makes the extra price worth it. period. You know, assuming it continues to be reliable, I would pay that. But you can't just compare it to other carry guns because you can get like guns that fill a similar role as this for a hell of a lot cheaper and that do it well. So it really comes down to, is it, you know, do you really want a nice trigger? Is that worth it? Is this Cerakote nice? The sights, you know, these are sights that you might upgrade on another gun, but this, they stay stock. So um, in that sense, I would say if you're willing to pay a little more, it is worth it. I would probably rate this higher as a carry gun than most things in its price range as well. But the other thing you can look at when you're talking about is it worth it is, and this is what I was looking at, I want a polymer, double single action. Yeah. I mean, how many other people make that? Like HK with the P2000 and the P30? Well, the P30 is a little big and I wanted a compact, so you can get the P30 SK, but well, now that's kind of a subcompact. So, you know, and that's probably a decent gun, and it'll probably come in actually a little cheaper than this, but it's gonna have a really shitty trigger. The ergos on it will be great, probably even better than this. But yeah, it's gonna have a worse trigger. You can go with the LEM, which is a double action only. That's nice and pretty light. But, you know, that's your option. The P2000, just get the standard one, double single action. That's going to come in at like 800, so a little less, but it's also going to have a terrible trigger. You know, the USP from HK, that's a lot of money though. And I'm struggling off the top of my head to think of other companies that make a polymer double single action. SIG P2022, I don't really have much experience with that. That's cheaper, but I don't think the trigger would be as nice. So in my mind, if you want a polymer frame double single action, this is a great option. It is more expensive than the standard version, which is like 650. But the upgrades you're getting are nice and worth it, I would say. Standard version is a good option too. So, but yeah, if you want a nice polymer double single action compact, it's kind of this or the P2000. Or the unupgraded version of this. And in my opinion, in that class, this is really nice. So it's expensive, but I think it's worth it. Yeah, I'm glad I bought it so far. I'll continue to be firing it, and I will hopefully have a full review up at some point. Um, yeah, generally, my first impressions are positive. Expensive, but it does what I want it to do, and it's good to go out of the box. So yeah, we'll see what it's like going forward. All right, thank you guys for watching. Have a good day and subscribe.